Hey y'all, today on the farm we're going to do the most uber crazy dangerous thing you can do on the farm, but it is a necessity. It has to be done. We had no option, so we're about to do it. To all of you who are watching, never ever go inside a grain bin when it has corn or wheat or rye or soybeans or whatever. It has a commodity in it. Never go inside the grain bin. That is a big no-no. Today, that said, I'm about to go inside the grain bin with it loaded. The reason I'm going to do that is I got to fumigate the bin. When you store corn or whatever commodity you got in your bin, when you store it in your bin for a prolonged period, you have to fumigate it every month or so, or where we live you do, or weevils will get in it and they will turn your corn into flour. And you can't sell flour out of bin. So we got to keep the weevils out of it. And so periodically we will fumigate it, and the fumigation don't have a lasting effect. It just kills whatever's in it then. So whether you got some in it or not, every month or so we'll fumigate it. If there's anything in it, it gets killed then. And if we still have the corn 2 months from now, we'll fumigate it again just to keep it clean. So this is an example of a good corn kernel and a weevil-eating corn kernel. This weevil-eating corn kernel is hollow. There's nothing on the inside of it. It's just a little like clear glass shell. It's just the outside enamel of the kernel. All the inside of it has been bored out, and so it has no weight and it is worth nothing. So you don't want the weevils to eat the inside of the kernels out. You want to keep them nice and clean. So now we got to go up here and stop up the vents on the bin, and then we'll fumigate it. The first thing you have to do before you get in a bin, the absolutely mandatory thing, is kill the power. There is a large auger in the bottom of that bin and a door in the center of the floor. And if someone were to cut the power on, cut that auger on, it would suck you down into the corn. All the way around the perimeter of these bins, you see these big air vents. And that's when we cut the fan on, it'll pull air from outside, it'll blow it through the corn, and it'll force moisture out of those vents. You see they're ducked over so it can't rain in them, but it'll push moisture out of the corn and dry it down some. What makes the inside of a bin so dangerous is this right here. So if the corn was still mounded up in here, no, do not get in. Or if you see a bump in the corn, do not get in. It could be a cavity up under, it could be an air pocket up under, and you get on it could collapse. And when it does, that's it for you. There's no coming back from that. We have put corn in here and sucked some out, so now we have a funnel shape in here. Now, if you go down there, you're gonna have a real difficult time coming back up this hill up to here. And I wouldn't recommend going down there. It may be difficult to get back up, and you may not be able to get back up. So what we're going to do is stop up all these air vents so the gases cannot escape, and we can fumigate the bin. And to do that, we're going to have to stay right around the edge here. You see where the corn's crowned over right here by the edge. We'll stay right by the edge above that crown, following the wall, and we'll go all around the wall, stopping those vents all the way around. The way that we're going to seal these up is we cut out, my dad cut out these pieces of poly here, sheets of poly, and we're going to stick them up there and then put a fender washer on here and a nut and hold that up there to block off the gap. As I walk in here, I am sinking all the way to my knee. I'm standing around the edge here. And this bin is very, very deep. So if I were to sink any deeper than my knees, you need to lay out flat so you have a lot more surface area to keep from going down. Just the surface area of my foot is allowing me to go down deep. But if I start sinking too much, I can spread my legs out, you know, so from my ankle to my knee becomes more of a footprint for me than just the bottom of my foot. And again, to spread out if an emergency onto my stomach, so I have maximum amount of coverage, and that will keep me from sinking in. The main thing is staying against the wall up here on this lip and not going off into the funnel. All right, we got the last one on. Now let's see if I can get back out of here. I have placed the tablets, the phosphotoxin tablets, in the top of the bin. Those tablets, when they react with the atmosphere, the moisture in the atmosphere, it will cause them to release a gas, and that gas is deadly. I'm going to put the power back on here, and now we're going to suck a little corn, just a little bit corn through there, and make that stuff suck down into the corn and get it cored into the bin. In the bin, not removing a lot of corn from the top. We're just going to get a little bit, we'll suck a little bit out into this gravity flow wagon just so we can suck those tablets down into the corn and get a little better inoculation. Again, if we were to fill up 5 or 6 gravity flows, I wouldn't be able to reach the vent to take my caps back off. So just get a little bit out, just enough to get that gas sucked down into the bin so we can get a nice good kill on any pest that may be in the bin. I hadn't seen any on any corn that we've gotten out. But once you see them, you're actually a little too late. You want to keep the corn clean. You don't never want to get behind the 8 ball on it. It's not recommended that you use phosphotoxin below 40 degrees. And while it is around 40, been around 40 here the last few days, it's about 80 to 85 inside that bin. So that actually still works pretty good inside there. Up under all that corn in that other bin that's filled way up to the top is an auger like this. It's called a floor sweep. It's a sharp auger that's pulling everything to the middle of the room. And right here, there's a hole in the floor. It's a door right there that we open and shut from the outside. We open that door up, cut this auger on it, sucks corn under the floor and out the side of the bin. Here's one of the doors right here. So there'll be a series of those doors, a big one in the middle, and usually a line of smaller ones going all the way to the wall. Those doors sit on top of this pipe. This pipe runs up under the floor of the bin. There's air up under the floor. The floor is right here. And so the bin has this air up under it. That is by design so that you can have a fan over here with a blow air under the commodity. The floor has a bunch of tiny holes in it, so when you cut that fan on, the air will blow through the corn or through the soybeans and push up to the top and go out those vents. The unloading auger is in that space below the floor, and so if someone were to cut on the unload motor, there's an auger inside that pipe where it'll start sucking that corn out, and if you're inside when that happens, it's going to pull you in and you can't get out. I've been told, I went to farm safety camp when I was in high school, and I was told that if you get sucked in there, even if you have a rope around you, the rope will pull your body in two before it pulls you out of the corn. Once you're sucked in, you can't be pulled out. We did have a guy working out here years ago. He's retired now, and before he came out here, he worked at another location, a buying point, where they had elevated bins. The bins were up in the air, and you could drive a trailer up under the bin, and they could load the trailers from under the bin. And he was inside the bin for some reason when they were loading trailers, and he got sucked in. And they couldn't see him. He was under the commodity, and the way they got him out was they pulled a trailer under the bin, opened up the giant door, and sucked him all the way through, and he fell into the trailer below. And luckily he lived, but he is the only human being I've ever heard of to get sucked down in a bin and live to tell about it. Got all them deer tracks. The deer will actually walk up here and get any corn that is spilt on the ground right here. They walk all the way up to the pad. They'll eat it out of the base of that auger right there. They walk all around up here. All these hunters worry about hiding the truck and walking 400 yards and descenting and all that crap. Deer walk right up here in the middle of all this equipment every day. Every day, and come up here and eat. If you want white-tailed deer, all you gotta do is have food. That's all you need. They'll be right out here in this pasture here. There's clover starting to sprout out there and come up. We have clover this seeded 4 or 5 years ago out there, and it comes back every year. It's already picking out of the ground a little bit out there. There'll be 12 deer out there in about 15-20 minutes, and as it gets dark, sun goes down, they'll ease right on up here to the grain bins and be walking around up here picking up any corn that we spilt. But that's it for today, and one of the more dangerous jobs you can do on the farm. I thank all of y'all for watching, and me and Mercer hope to see you next time.